Facebook Live. This is my first Facebook Live video, and I'm making it on my bike, on my trainer. The reason I'm on my bike is because I'm training for a 100-mile century ride next month. It's in exactly 4 weeks. It's my first 100-mile ride, and so I've been spending a lot of time on my bike, more time outside than inside, but it's been given me a lot of time to think not only about the race that's coming up, but I've also been thinking a lot about my upcoming trip. A lot of you know that I'm going to Papua New Guinea starting in September. I'm going to be there for a year. Some of you probably know that I work in a village called Limol in southern Papua New Guinea. They do, they have a language project going, and I'm there as a linguist that helps them. We're writing a dictionary, we're writing a grammar, I'm writing my dissertation. It's a really wonderful relationship in a really beautiful part of the world. So as I'm gearing up to go, I've been applying for lots of grants, doing a lot of preparation for the trip, and one thing that I decided to do is that I want to dedicate this 100-mile century ride that I'm doing on May 6th to the people in Limol. And I wanted to start making some videos and start just kind of spreading some awareness about what life is like for people in southern Papua New Guinea, how challenging it is, and what I'm doing and what people in Limol are doing and what you could do to help make a difference for for the people that are living there. So let me tell you a little bit about what life is like. I really enjoyed living in Limol. My first trip was in 2015. I went in 2016 as well. It's a really unique experience to live somewhere that doesn't have electricity or running water or really any access to the outside world. It's in this day and age with constantly being connected via our iPhones and our computers. It's kind of a relaxing feeling, but it's also kind of a scary feeling. But one thing that's really challenging about that, especially for the men and women in Limol, is that day-to-day tasks and day-to-day survival are really difficult without the luxuries of electricity and roads and plumbing and things like that. So day-to-day life is really hard. And every year that I've gone, I've been able to bring some tools, bring some goods and some gifts in order to help the people that live there. Two of the most efficient and the most sustainable tools that I've been able to bring are water rollers. So one part of life that's really hard is that in order to get water, women have to walk a mile to get to the well, and they have to walk a mile back, and from the well they have to carry about 40 pounds of water on their head, and it's incredibly heavy, it's very difficult, and they have to do this about 2 to 3 times a day in order to get enough water for their family, for the children, to do the dishes, for drinking water and things like that. And what I was able to bring last year were these large water rollers that shifts the burden of the water from women's heads, where it causes head and back and neck pain and permanent damage, to the ground, and you actually push it like a wheelbarrow. They're really cool. One of the other big challenges is that because there's no electricity, as soon as it gets dark outside, which is at about 6 p.m., as soon as it gets dark outside, you can't see. And so because there's no electricity, there's no access to batteries, there's no access to a market or to flashlights, people still use tree bark and fire in order to see at night. And there's two problems with that. First, it's not very efficient, it's not very effective, the light isn't very bright, and it goes out very quickly, which is very frustrating. But it can also be very dangerous to use fire inside, inside your room, inside your bed, when you're just wanting to stay up and chat and have a conversation or hang out with your kids. So what I've brought are solar lanterns, which are powered by the sun. They're very sustainable. They work very well. People love them. Anyway, let me just cut to the chase. This year I want to bring back 2 more water rollers and 40 more solar lanterns, for just so that every single house in Limol has a light. And that'll be very important because this year we're also bringing back 3 of the first books ever written in Ende. We're printing them this year, and so every house will have books and every house is going to have a light. And so I'm dedicating this 100-mile century ride to that cause, and I'll be talking about it. I'll share some videos. There's a link in the description below where you can see women in Limol actually talk about solar lanterns and the water rollers and how it's changed their lives. And if you would like to get involved, I am asking for donations of $10 for every mile that I bike in my century ride. For $10 a mile, you'll get your own mile. I'll be thinking about you, and it'll be thanks to you that I make it to the finish line, and that there's one more face in Limol that's lightened up by a solar lantern and a smile. So I hope that you'll consider donating, and at least just following along. And if you have any ideas about tools that you've used in any kind of backcountry situations about making life easier, if you know of people that make, who do engineering for good, let me know in the comments. And thanks.